Surrey is about to become the largest city in British Columbia, bigger than the city of Vancouver. But here's the thing. I've been working the real estate market here for over 23 years, and I find most buyers get the area completely wrong. So today I'm going on a full map tour to break down every neighborhood, commute, and price range in Surrey in around 10 minutes or so. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly where you fit. All right, so I've got the map pulled up here. I thought I'd just zoom out for those of you that aren't from the area, maybe have no idea where Vancouver is on the map here. It's right over here. So we are right here in the south part of British Columbia, and we're right next to the US border. That's the US border right there. And you can see here from the big map, I'll kind of give you a quick look at the area. Here's downtown Vancouver over here, West Vancouver, North Vancouver, Richmond. This is where the airport is over here. You've got Delta, you've got Tawasin, Surrey, which is where we're going to be talking about a lot today. You've also got White Rock in the south part here. Langley over here, and everything in Langley goes kind of north to south. And then over here, we've got other parts of the Fraser Valley, Abbotsford, Chilliwack, Mission, things like that. So that's the basic layout. You know, in a nutshell, you'll see from this map here, you know, the constraints in terms of real estate here. You've got the mountains to the north. So really there's nothing going on here other than skiing. You know, Whistler's up here. Highway 99, Whistler, there's Whistler. So there's no building, I mean, other than in Whistler, but there's no building up in here. So we're constrained by this. We're constrained by the US border. We're constrained by the mountains to the east. And on the west side, we have the ocean. So that's one of the big issues here in Vancouver and why real estate prices have been so high over the years, because there's really nowhere else to go. So we'll go down to Surrey here and just kind of break that down quickly. And before we get right into the different neighborhoods, transportation options and things like that, I'll look at just a quick summary. So North Surrey up here, you know, central, kind of middle of Surrey, you got Cloverdale kind of right in the middle here, and then South Surrey and White Rock's another area we talk about quite a bit down in here. The Langley area is right over here, and that starts at 196th Street, which is about right here. So everything east of here is Langley until you get to Abbotsford. And then west of there is the Surrey area until you get about to right here where you get into North Delta. So this is the area here we're going to be focusing on most in this video. I'll probably do another video on the Langley area in terms of a map tour. I did do a cool video showing these different neighborhoods in Langley from, you know, north to south. So you might want to take a watch through that one if you're thinking about the Langley area. But today we're going to kind of focus on the Surrey area. One thing that's standing out right here is I wanted to point out Campbell Heights Business Park, which is this area right here. Now, 15 years ago, I don't know, 20 years ago for sure, none of this was here. There's some big businesses in here. You've got Walmart, you've got, you know, A&W Canada, you've got Amazon. There's a bunch of like huge employers that are in here. So the thing with Surrey is they're really trying to develop it so that people don't have to head into Vancouver every time they need to go to work. So they can work right here in Campbell Valley, lots of jobs in there. Obviously these other areas have businesses and whatnot, but this is kind of the main new stuff. And there's more land here that's going to be developed or moving forward. So this is the area here that's really growing, and it's providing, you know, employment not only for Surrey but Langley, which is right here on the other side. So we'll start up in North Surrey here quickly, just to show you a couple of the transportation options. Actually, that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the transportation of the area. So the main routes here, this is Highway 1. This runs east-west here. So if you want to head further into the valley, into Abbotsford, Langley, you would go east on Highway 1. But if you're heading from Cloverdale, if you're heading from Guilford in North Surrey to Vancouver, you're going to want to connect onto Highway 1 and go over the Portman Bridge here, head into Burnaby, and then you're into Vancouver and whatnot there. If you live in the south part here, you've got options. You can head up Highway 7 or Highway 15 here, 176th Street to Highway 1, or you can head over to Highway 99, and that's another route here. And when you head over to Highway 99, you've got options. You can head into the same areas here via 91. There's the Alex Fraser Bridge over here, or you can head down through Delta here through the George Massey Tunnel, which will be getting replaced at some point by another tunnel or a bridge. But that's the main routes out of this area here. through the south part or mid part of Surrey. That Highway 10 right there is a big route connecting east and west. And then of course, if you've watched some of our other videos, that's SkyTrain. SkyTrain is becoming right down here. So basically it ends here already. It comes over here, but it's going to be going all the way down Fraser Highway right to downtown Langley City. So all the neighborhoods in here, you know, Clayton, Cloverdale, Fleetwood, all those things in between there are going to be very connected now with that SkyTrain to get you into Vancouver and other parts of Greater Vancouver. So that's some of the big things going on there. So those are the main routes that you're going to want to take in and out. Another one here, King George Boulevard, goes kind of north-south. 152nd Street is the other one. Yeah, it's right here, so that goes north-south. So that's kind of the main thoroughfares that you're going to be using if you're living in the Surrey area. And I'll just jump over to a quick map here since we're talking transportation. I've got Google Maps. So bear in mind right now it's 4:15 p.m. on a Thursday. So we are probably, if we're not in the heat of rush hour, we are right, you know, it's almost here. So right now to get from Guilford Town Center, which is in North Surrey, there's South Surrey here, North Surrey here, Cloverdale here. So to get from here to downtown Vancouver right now is 38 minutes, okay? It's probably more like 30 minutes or so without traffic, but right now you've got a couple slowdowns starting here. Not too bad for this time of day. The other area that we might want to say here is, so that's kind of in the South Surrey area down here. Right now, yeah, see we're running about an hour, 3 minutes, and we've got a couple of routes here. So you can go Highway 99 through that tunnel I just talked about, or you can go Highway 99 to the 91 over the Alex Fraser Bridge, and that takes you another route. But anyways, either way you cut it, you're looking at about an hour. Now, middle of the night, that's about 35 minutes, okay? So right now you're about double the commute time. And that can definitely get worse because I've gone downtown in rush hour and it's taken me, you know, an hour and a half. That's kind of a rough idea on commute times right now. So now we talked about transportation. Let's talk a bit about, you know, lifestyle and, you know, the outdoors, things to do. So definitely one of the main areas in the Surrey, White Rock area is this part down here. And, you know, it's obvious to look at that. You're right on the ocean. You're here in Boundary Bay. You know, the views here, the properties, I mean, everything that you've got down here is fantastic. So we'll go in here. There's the White Rock Pier. Here's the Promenade here in White Rock. You got all the restaurants and all that stuff along here. So you can cruise along here in the summer, and it's just a really cool vibe. And some of the views you're getting here, I've actually got a couple houses for sale in the White Rock area with, you know, views that look like this, but that's basically what you're looking at from White Rock. There's also some cool towers and whatnot in White Rock if you're looking for, like over here. So pretend we're on the top of one of these ones here, right? So just zoom around, you've got the mountains, you've got, you know, great views out towards the US. So that is the US right across there, you know, Canada here, US there, Semiahmoo. There's some great golf courses just across the border here. You've got the Peace Arch Crossing right over here, Blaine, Washington. So that's basically where we are at in terms of, you know, that south part here, and just some great beaches. Here's Crescent Beach, you know, great trails in here. So some real cool outdoor activities to do down there. And then, you know, other parts of Surrey have parks. I mean, it is, you know, tons of parks. I mean, you can kind of tell by this green space here. Watershed Park, you got Bear Creek Park, you've got golf courses throughout. So there's, you know, Tynehead Regional Park, Green Timbers. There's a lot of parks and things to do throughout Surrey. And in the north part here, we've got the Fraser River. So, you know, we're surrounded by water and nature everywhere. The other thing I'll point out in terms of like looking at green space is there's a lot of agricultural land in Surrey. And if you're not from the area, in BC, we have what's called the Agricultural Land Reserve. And this area is basically only to be used for farming. So you'll see there's a lot of land in here. You're not seeing developments like up here. This is not ALR land. This over here is. So this is the Cloverdale area here. You can see in the west part of Cloverdale, it's bordered by ALR land. So you got farmlands here. So you cannot build on that. And over here, you cannot build on that. Down south here of the Cloverdale area, again in the South Surrey, you've got Morgan Creek. You know, again, this is ALR, all this is not. So, you know, in case you're wondering why, hey, why haven't they built here? Because they can't. You can farm there, you can build a big house and whatnot, but you can't build a big subdivision and townhouses and all that stuff on that type of land. Okay, in terms of entertainment, things to do, you're gonna have restaurants and things like that spread out throughout Surrey, but a couple of the major spots here, up in North Surrey, you've got that city center area here, which is gonna be getting lots of redevelopment or new developments going on, and you can see all the high rises here, a lot of concrete high rises. Reason being that SkyTrain already comes here and it's gonna continue on from here down the Fraser Highway. So you've got a lot of entertainment options here, restaurants, brew pubs, Central City Mall is there. You've got some other stuff coming up with that new entertainment district that they're putting in. They've got a new arena they just approved. So this is a bit of a destination here. And with that SkyTrain that's going to be reaching out towards Langley, this is going to be pretty easy to get to, which is the whole idea behind it and why they're building this area up here. From Central Surrey area there, you go to the east a little bit and you come over to Guilford. So this is another kind of area here with the Guilford Mall and things like that. You've got cinemas, restaurants, basically all the shopping you would need in here. So there's lots of stuff in here for entertainment and things like that. Some of the other major hubs for entertainment and whatnot, I'll pop down to Cloverdale. That's all the way over, where am I? Down here, downtown Cloverdale. There's a really cool main drag here in Cloverdale that, there's lots of entertainment here and bars, and there's, the Henry and other Ruby Siam Thai food. That's one of my favorites. So that's all in there. And I noticed here on Google, they took this imagery during the summer because this is the flea market that happens. This is usually a main street here, but they've got a summer flea market that happens there in the summer. So really cool to check out. You can see some new development right next to here. It used to be a Safeway over there. So that's all being redeveloped. And yeah, the other cool part in Cloverdale, which is definitely not so much entertainment, but recreation and whatnot, is this area over here. So we've got the new Cloverdale Ice Sports Complex, which we just did another video on. But the other thing is that this racetrack here, where they used to race horses on, this casino is still there. This whole area though is going to be redeveloped. So the cool thing is we don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but I'm hearing some cool stories. I don't want to start any rumors, but this could be a really neat entertainment kind of area for this part of Surrey here. You also have the Cloverdale Recreation Center right here, which isn't that old, I think 10, 15 years old. You've got the curling rink, the original Cloverdale Arena, which is very small, but it's still there. And then, again, you've got lots of shopping over here, London Drugs. You got my favorite sushi restaurant over here, which is Umami Sushi. Where is that here? Umami Sushi right there. There's really lots of stuff in Cloverdale. I think the highlight, at least for me, I live in more the south part of the city, is the White Rock, South Surrey area. And that White Rock Promenade, I mean, I really don't know. You can't beat it, especially in the summer. So basically you come down to the water here on Marine Drive, and it's only 30 kilometers an hour, by the way, so don't get a speeding ticket. Right along the front of the promenade runs the railway, which is, it's kind of neat to have, but it's also noisy. There has been talk of moving it over the years. I don't know if there's any progress or further talks on that, but the train runs right down here, and there's just some cool stuff here. All these like little restaurants, get fish and chips, a Zapoteca. Here we go. Really cool little Mexican restaurant. It's like Southern Mexican, like the Oaxaca. Yeah, you go over here, you come over the White Rock, they call it the little hump here, which kind of goes up, and then you go back down to the other side here, and you've got some, Charlie Don't Surf Oolies, the old train station here where the people used to come and go from White Rock, Greek restaurant. And then, the further you go over here, is you're getting into the residential. And again, some of these homes over here, just some really, cool views here. Try to swing around. Yeah, but I mean, there's some of the views you're getting out on White Rock. So higher elevations there. So a really cool spot. Lots of cool entertainment, restaurants, and all that stuff there. The other place in South Surrey for some good entertainment and shopping and things like that, you've got downtown White Rock in here. There's some cool stuff here on Johnston Road, which is actually 152nd Street. And then you've got the Semiahmoo Mall over here. And a little bit farther to the north On the other side of Highway 99 is this newer area here, and this is Grandview Heights, Morgan Heights, and you've got some cool shops. You've got, you know, Earl's, you've got Spin House, Sol y Limon, a Mexican restaurant. Again, I like Mexican food. That's another good one. Ignite Pizzeria is very good, but you got basically, you know, all the shopping you would want. You've got Walmart, you've got Starbucks, 2 Starbucks actually, Thrifty Foods. So all the shopping that you would need is right here. And there's lots of houses, townhomes, condos, you know, all this stuff over here is, you know, within walking distance of all this stuff. So this is a really cool area if you're looking. Okay, a couple other things about the greater Vancouver area that you might not know. You know, Langley and Surrey are over here. And if you're looking at going to the airport, let's say, that is all the way over here. That's in Richmond. So that's over here. This is the Vancouver airport. So you're, you know, basically from this area, North Surrey, you're probably about, well, I know from South Surrey, you're about 25 minutes, half an hour to get to the airport. So it's fairly quick. A little bit longer up here if you got to drive through the city, but that's where the airport is. Ferry terminals to Vancouver Island and whatnot are over here in Tsawwassen. You can see that there. That's where the ferries go from. There's also ferries that go out of West Vancouver up in here in right here in Horseshoe Bay as well. So big picture, you know, where do you fit if you're thinking of moving to Surrey? You know, there's not a one size fits all here in Surrey. It's, as you can see, it varies a little bit by neighborhood, by area, north, by, you know, south. Really depends a lot on where you work, what sort of lifestyle you're looking for. Do you want a view? You know, do you want an ocean view? Well, that's kind of you're kind of down in these areas here. Or, you know, do you want a river view up in this area, up in here? But the main thing is, like I say, where you're commuting to. If you have to commute and get into Vancouver, you're probably gonna wanna live up here, you know, maybe over here, so you've got easy access, or in that South Surrey area, where you can get right on Highway 99. And right now it's a bit of a grind, this Highway 99, I'm not gonna lie. Main reason being this tunnel is like, you know, 60 years old or so, 70 years old, I don't know. But they're gonna replace this at some point. And when they do, hopefully that makes this commute a little bit easier, because this here will back up. Yeah, so you can see this right here, it's all starting to back up. It's actually not too bad right now. But that area there definitely backs up, whether you're going north or south, depending on the day, on the time of day. So rather than thinking about it, you know, as Surrey versus Vancouver, think about which specific pocket of you know, the area matches your commute, you know, your lifestyle, your budget, you know, and how you want your weekends to feel. You know, that's really the right question to ask. And, you know, if you are looking at moving to the Surrey or the Langley area right next door here, reach out to us. We've been doing this over 20 years, 23, 24 years now. So we know the area. We've sold in pretty much every area on this map here. So give us a call, email. Our contact info is in the description down below. And in the next video I've linked here, this answers the question, you know, I get asked more than any other. If I were actually moving to Surrey, if I was moving there, knowing what I know, where would I live? And I did a video here. I gave you my own personal pick, including the specific neighborhood where I think I would put my own family today. So take a watch of that video and hopefully you find that informative as well. Thanks again for watching. See you again soon.